So, one of the most confusing things for me when I was getting into more harmony in general was remembering chord voicings. And, my teachers kept telling me that you gotta know your notes, you gotta know your notes, but it's not that easy to really remember the notes. However, having said that, there were people and teachers and fellow musicians who had also mentioned remember the numbers, right? Like, for example, let's say if I'm talking about a major 7 chord, let's say this particular voicing, I'm playing this in E flat. Now, the spelling of a major 7 is 1, 3, 5, and 7. What I mean by that is the root, the third, the fifth, and the major seventh of a major scale. When you stack them up, that is when you get your major seventh chord. I'm gonna essentially try and figure out what notes I'm holding here, and I'm gonna try and remember them as numbers, right? For example, here I have E flat, that's my root, right? Then I got my B flat, that's my 5. Then I got my D, that's my major 7. And then I got my G, so that's my third, my major third, right? So I got my root, 5, major 7, major third. Now, when I remember this as numbers, then it becomes a little easier for me to transpose it, right? Because I can just think of these shapes. I can just remember the shapes, and while remembering the shapes, I'm also trying to remember the chord tones. Because when I'm trying to play over these chord changes, these chord tones are gonna really come in handy. Because if that's your chord, all of the notes within that chord are your right notes per se. As in, like, if you land on any of those notes, you are bound to sound right. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that the other notes don't work. It's always about how you approach things. But then, this is a great place to start when you're trying to outline chord changes in general. So, now let's say I'm playing this chord, right? And I want to practice targeting this particular chord tone. So I can just loop up this particular chord, let's say in any kind of groove that you like. So now that I got my loop going, firstly I'm going to practice playing the chord tones by themselves, right? So I got, right? Now, once you have that down, then you're going to try and approach each note. You can try approaching them from a half step below or maybe a whole step below, right? There are right answers to that, as in, like, of course, every time a whole step or a half step won't work. But I do encourage you to try just messing around with things, just because the whole concept of trial and error does teach you things that you will probably not learn if I just give you the correct answer. Like, so let's do that together. Let's say I want to approach the root from a half step below. So I got, similarly, let's say I want to approach the third from a half step below. So I had my third here on the second string, right? So I got another third here, right? So as you can see, now this is building into something, right? So now let's just keep playing around with it and then see what comes out, right? And I'll also try adding the other two chord tones here and there as well. Oh, 1, 2, 3. can always try just using the notes of the chords that you're already playing to sort of create your musical ideas, right? And hopefully that is going to get you somewhere, and that's going to inspire you to think in a slightly different way. Now, of course, this little concept can be used on any kind of chord, right? That's how I would suggest, like, that's like one way I can suggest you or anybody to just, you know, create phrases that go with the chords that you're trying to play over. So, yeah, I hope this was helpful. And if you like what you saw, consider subscribing to my channel and consider sharing this video. Also, consider liking the video because that really helps me out. And if you got any further questions, feel free to comment down below. If you want to take private lessons with me, my details are in the description below. So just hit me up and let's talk. So, yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.